Going to take you to Kyiv now, where Anna Foster is standing by with our partner at the BBC. Thank you so much for joining us. So you've heard President Zelensky. One of the things that he said over the weekend was that we are entering a new phase of this war, that the expectation is that there will be a renewed focus on eastern Ukraine with a ramping up of weaponry. I'm wondering if that's what you're seeing in Kyiv. Have you seen the Russians pull back from Kyiv? Is there less artillery, less of pretty much everything?
There is, Anne-Marie. I think there's a real feeling that this conflict is now about to become really focused on the east of this country. You have to remember, of course, that in the 6 weeks of this war so far, Russia has been depleted. It has lost troops, it has lost weaponry, it has lost armoured vehicles, but it still wants to try and salvage what it can out of this conflict. And it knows that for now, what it needs to do is pull back to the east, to the Donbas region, those Russian-speaking areas, separatist areas of Luhansk and Donetsk. And there's a real feeling that the focus now is moving in that direction, away from places like Kyiv, of course. This was, for so long, the place that Russia really wanted to try and take. They wanted to try and take the capital and show their military might. They didn't manage to do that, but they really want to try and salvage something in the east.
Is there a concern, though, that if they are successful in the east and they manage to sort of hammer out a stronghold there, an area where they can get supplies in and out very quickly, there will be a renewed focus on Kyiv, a second kick at the can, if you will?
I think that's right. And that is really interesting because, you know, what I've seen today, I'm on the edge of Irpin, which is one of those commuter towns around the capital, Kyiv, which was held by Russian forces. And people are starting to come back here because they're desperate to return home. They've fled their homes in the midst of the conflict and they want to come back. But there is a concern that Kyiv could still be a target in the future. The Chechen leader just overnight said that he felt that if Russia took the Donbas, then they would move on again and try to take Kyiv. We have to remember, of course, the resistance that they faced when they tried to do that the first time. It would be very difficult for them to try again. But the messaging is, the psychological messaging is that they still want to try.
It's interesting that you're sort of just on the outskirts of Kyiv. You know, we heard about the horrors that were revealed in Bucha, in Irpin, once the Russians left. I'm really sort of curious about the fact that people want to come back to these areas right now.
It's really surprising, isn't it? And, you know, to get here today, there's been a huge traffic jam of people, some of them who are waiting to get back to their homes, some of them who are bringing food and aid. It is taking them hours to get through these checkpoints. You see people with their cars parked up at the side of the road, smoking a cigarette, just patiently waiting to get back and to see, well, I was going to say to see their homes, but in some cases it is to see what's left of their homes. And if you just see behind me here, this is just a small fraction of the devastation that we have witnessed. These cars, and you can see there are family cars mixed in with military vehicles. These were all on the road down to the bridge here that people used to try and get out of Irpin, the bridge that was eventually blown up by Ukrainian forces to try and stop the Russians from getting in here. But you imagine those cars, the people inside fleeing for their lives, and you look now at this twisted, tangled mountain of wreckage, and it is just one image in an area that has seen so much destruction, Anne-Marie, in these last 6 weeks or so.
It is such a reminder that people just want to go home. They want to come back to Ukraine. It doesn't matter what home looks like right now, but home is where the heart always is. Anna, thank you very much.